but it is. And here's the sea attack, and just look at that kill feed. Look at it go. Hello, dear viewers, friends, and all that juicy goodness. Welcome back to another episode of ARK Primal Fear. This is TBT, and today we're going to be fighting the Celestial Indominus Rex Emperor. But Rex means king, so I'll forget it. Actually, I think it might just be Celestial Indominus Emperor, whatever. Yeah, we're going to be fighting that guy. But before we, yeah, you can see right there, that's the summoner form. But before we do that, I need to go over what the hell I'm flying right here. This is a Celestial Griffin. I actually tamed this earlier, and I did catch it on camera, or some of it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that right here. Unfortunately, there'll be no audio for it since, yeah, as mentioned earlier in my other videos, yeah, my OBS updated, and when it does that, it screws up and disconnects my mic. So here you go. Alrighty, yeah, there it was. Just a quick clip. There was more footage of me demonstrating exactly what the Celestial Griffin does, but TLDR, it has a fire breath that's, you know, it's pretty decent, and it has a burst attack very similar to the Draco Meteor from the Celestial Wyvern, but this one arcs, so it can travel a greater distance, but moves a little slower. But I also like this guy because he's nice and small comparatively to the Celestial Wyvern, so it's easier to get in places. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to clear out this area a little bit, make it a little safer for us to do this boss fight without the ruffians interfering. And by the way, if you find yourself enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. I really appreciate it. Yeah, just killing these poor non-Celestial Indominus Rexes. These guys are pretty tough, actually. Like, they're no match for me, but they're pretty tough. You can see there the Griffin does do decent damage. Although I also went ahead and pointed out right there, its stamina is kind of dog shit, as is often the case with Griffins. Tis unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I think, as a Celestial, I'll admit right now, I think the Celestial Wyvern's a little better in terms of overall combat abilities. But this guy takes the cake in maneuverability and, you know, ease of use. Although the Wyvern is faster. This guy is more agile. It's much easier to control him. And when this guy is able to do his dive bomb, he is able to put out some insane damage and pick up speed like all Griffins do. So, I've also noticed, I think its Celestial power-up seems to empower it a lot more than the others. Also, absolutely stunning creature. Like, I love Griffins. They're fantastic. There we go. There's a demonstration of the burst. You could see there, it does do some nice damage, but I also cocooned myself, which is another point I'll give to the Celestial Wyvern, is that you can more easily control the burst because it's a straight line, so it's a little bit easier to gauge distance. But yeah, I just wanted to get that quick comparison done. We won't be using this guy or the Wyvern in this fight, though, and the reason for that is that the Wyverns are still breeding at this point in time, as of this recording. I do have that setting enabled, so I'm able to breed them because I love breeding things and getting imprints and stuff. It's always fun, but more importantly, this is another shout out to storminit and his guide on the tier 3 bosses, because the Celestial Indominus Rex is a tier 3 boss. There's two schools of thought on it. The first is you use Wyverns and Griffins against the Indominus Rex Celestial. Do not use Demonics against him, because Demonics, he can forcibly power you down. But with Celestials, even though he can cocoon you, using flyers does give you some airtime, so that's enough to avoid his dreaded sea attack. But more on that later. That's not what we're going to be doing with today, though. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the boss we tamed, the other tier 3 boss, to fight the other tier 3 boss. So we're going to use the Demonic Reaper Empress to battle the Celestial Indominus Emperor. This is seeming like less of an ARK episode and more like some kind of, like, royal political fucking scheme that just turned into all-out warfare. So, you know, like Game of Thrones, but with less boobs and more dinosaurs. And, you know, not the terrible Season 8 writing. But yeah, here she is. Here's the Demonic Reaper Empress that we tamed. And I love this thing, but my god, it's huge. And don't get me wrong, I love big creatures, but, like, this is... Like, I make Brontos look tiny, is how big I am. It's crazy. Don't worry, we're getting to the fun stuff soon. We're just making some prep. When I come out here, it's nice in an open area, so it's an easy place to fight certain bosses. And that's what I want to be doing here. Just make anything easier. Probably gonna use this if we make it to tier 5. I would like to use this for the Nova fight, because, well, we'll get there when we get there. I might even use it for the Pycon fight. Side note, again, I've been giving it some thought, and what I'm thinking might happen, depending on when ARK Survival Ascended drops, is I might actually keep this Let's Play going just a little bit longer, because I actually would like to hit the tier 7 boss if I can. But, you know, I'm not 100% sure of that, and I'm not clear on if I want to keep the game installed any longer than I have to. It depends on how chunky Survival Ascended is and whatnot. But yeah, as we've gotten into this later game aspect, I'm definitely, you know, I'm just organizing my potions there, splitting them up, putting them in her inventory, which you should absolutely do, by the way. Keep some in yours and put some in your creatures, and also don't forget to give them the stamina thingy, because that's incredibly helpful. It's not overly useful, like it is helpful, but not crazily so until you have creatures that power up, because power-ups drain stamina. But yes, back to what I was just saying. Probably going to keep this installed just so I can keep playing this and also work on my ARK review. I really didn't get as much done on it as I wanted to. I'd hoped to actually be able to finish it, but I'm not even close. Like, I've done some of the preliminary work, but it's like I still have to record some new footage because I want to be able to get at least all the canon maps. And I've never recorded myself playing on Scorched Earth or Extinction or any of the Genesis maps. So, yeah. Also, here we go. We're about to start the fight, so I'm going to shut up about that. We'll and get into this. You can see there, the Celestial Indominus does have some damage resist, because I'm definitely not doing the damage that I normally do. Oh yeah, just sometimes I love comboing with Reapers. I'll go into the sea to knock the enemy away, so that I can then do the sticky balls, which in this case is just a fucking artillery strike. Like, and all that is to apply the dot. Just get that dot. That's the trick with these bosses, I think, is get that dot on them as soon and as much as you can, because they have an enormous amount of health. Now, the amount of health they have is not comparable to the amount of damage they do. It's like all ARK bosses, they are far tankier than they are actually, than the damage they inflict would suggest. But you can see we're whittling him down. I'm not sure if this is the most efficient way to fight him. This actually seems like a creature where, again, like the Reaper Empress, 2 or 3 powerful creatures bum rushing him would also get the job done. But the issue you have here is that he summons flying minions. And flying minions are really annoying because they distract any creatures that are invested in the fight that aren't being ridden. So if you're fighting this guy solo, not only can these flyers hit the rider directly if you're in an unpowered up creature, but they can also... Oh, did we just... No, we're good. Sorry, I have to be careful. My editing software can sometimes just absolutely crap out, so thankfully that didn't happen. No frame drop from the game. Oh, there it is. There's that attack I mentioned before. That right there, we've seen that attack when we ran into this thing in the wild, by the way. Like, that was a very early episode, and I briefly got a glimpse of the Emperor, and then he suddenly unleashed like a hailstorm in all directions of exploding needles. That's what that was. And if I was not powered up, I would almost certainly have died. Not the Empress, but me, the player, would be dead. Right there. So I also think this is just a more epic way to do this. Pit boss versus boss. Yeah, we're getting him down. He's almost at half now. And this is, you notice I turned off the damage numbers here because I wanted to be able to actually see the fight a little bit. Just appreciate it. I have to turn them back on though because I also have to keep my resource, just resource management in check. I'm not sure if I needed to use as many potions as I did, but it certainly didn't hurt. Yeah, he's almost dead. And that's what I mean. Get that dot. Apply the dot. And bam, he's done it. And there's the boss fight finished, which means that we're done with these T3 bosses, these Tier 3 Primal Fear bosses now. And yeah, because like this is when I ultimately decided, hey, we're going to be doing at least up to Tier 4, and I definitely would like to do Tier 5 if I can. Now I'm like, I'm hyped enough that I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do 6 and 7. You see, that was me showing off all the loot we got. Got a decent enough saddle for that. I also got that sword there that you'll see at the bottom, and that sword, by the way, is kind of ridiculous. It gives you a massive staff buff and summons a Celestial Allosaur minion to fight at your side. I haven't found an excuse to use it yet because I'm always riding my creatures more than I'm engaging in direct combat, so as awesome as that would be at this stage in the game, I'm like, ooh, rule of cool? Yes. Practical? Not really. Unless it boosts your stats to the point where it's like, I can tank a hit from, like, ridiculous-ass celestial whatever. Yeah, that's the thing you summon the tameable version with. Another thing to point out while I'm here is you have to farm these guys. Like, you do need to kill them multiple times because you will need their souls in order to summon the next tier bosses. That doesn't mean you have to go out of your way to gain all the materials to summon them. And even though that's what I did, I would recommend against it. I would go and try and find them in the wild, because this tier of boss is the last tier that will spawn in the wild naturally. After this, you have to summon and everything. So it was a waste of resources for me to actually craft the summoners for them, because those same materials go into crafting other bosses. And we'll get to the summoning of the tameable version in just a second here. I actually really like the way these last videos with these bosses have turned out, where I've been able to do both. And if you've seen my previous videos, which you should totally go check out, by the way, of this Let's Play and of the Aberration and Fjordur, you know that I get very paranoid about boss fights in ARK. And as a result of that, I tend to over-prepare. Like, the dreaded Savage Acrocanthosaurus fight, I absolutely smoked him because I over-prepared and brought, like, a full battalion of mutated dinosaurs. And he couldn't even get past the first wave of them. But yeah, I'm gonna be like that for all these bosses as well. Like, I'm going to do my research, I'm going to, you know, plan, and I'm going to expect to run into difficulties. That's not the same thing as assuming the worst, by the way. It's preparing for the worst, but, you know, you go in and you obviously hope for the best. You've done all the prep work you can. I think that's what I can say. As I've mentioned my issues with ARK bosses, and I will again when I do the ARK review, I feel like most of them aren't actually that good of boss fights, and I think these Primal Fear bosses are better, but still often have many similar issues as well. Yeah, so this is where I decide we're going to summon this thing, and I love that you can use weapons on the back of a Celestial Wyvern. That's insane. One Origin Arrow, and then it's time to just, you know, casually go over here. Now, once you use the Origin Arrow, all you have to do is wait. Just be patient. So I wonder why these damage numbers are white when it does this. Like, I don't know what that signifies. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here. He's gonna just sit here and let him cook, basically. And now he's torpor. No, he's not torpor running. He's like, oh. Oh. Yeah, I had to hit the pause screen because somebody came in. You probably heard that voice there. And now it's kind of torpor running. And it's down. I want to point out I've mentioned about the Celestial Indominus Rex being male. It turns out that you can summon the tameable version that is female. So, and before you ask, no, you cannot breed them, even if you turn the setting on. Like I said, you have to farm these guys, and every time you kill them, you'll get a summoner for a tameable version, and that's one more creature to have. So why wouldn't you get it? If you have the origin arrows, then go for it. It's another potential boss killer to use. And once we get into these higher tier bosses beyond this point, the more the merrier. God, this thing is massive. I feel like we're right on the cusp in terms of creature size in this mod, where it's like we're right at like just a bit too crazy. Like, I hope the next batch of creatures isn't all that much bigger than this. Like, this is almost too much right now. Look at this thing. Like, its claws are like 3 of me. What the hell? It's borderline kaiju is what we're looking at here. Ah yes, welcome to ARK, where no matter what you eat, it sounds like you've just taken a bite out of a really crunchy chip. And now we're gonna go see, ooh, the unleveled and not powered up, by the way, and this thing does 42k damage on a bite. And that's with not the best stats, I will say. Like, not the best tamed stats. Yeah, definitely some pretty respectable damage. Also, sometimes you see videos of people in Primal Fear. Oh, we need to talk about this Fire Breath. This Fire Breath right here, it does some decent damage, but the range is complete dog shit. Like, I have to be directly over a creature, which isn't that hard, and you get a dot of 16k, pretty much. But, like... Now, I want to point out that because we're so massive, that range is actually probably a little farther than it looks, but comparatively to the size of the creature, that is so bad. Like, you have to be in their face to make it worthwhile. So it's not a terrible attack, but like it is. And here's the C attack, and just look at that kill feed. Look at it go. And it's firing the quills and proto feathers out of its neck and back, I think, is what it's supposed to be doing. Unfortunately, I don't think it has any other attacks. It does have a roar, but that roar doesn't do anything. I will also say I prefer the ARK Editions version of the Indominus Rex, the Domination Rex. I do think this model is cool, but that one is so much sleeker and leaner, and would, like, if you scaled it to this size, it'd be menacing. And it already is, really. But, you know, that's a whole mod creator type of thing, and it's just personal preference. if I'm not mistaken, this was made from the Giga model, but so it has some of those same issues that a lot of the earlier ARK creatures models do. Where it's just a little too chonk and a little too wonk, you know? A little chonk and a little wonk. Nothing wrong with those things, just it doesn't really work in your game when it doesn't quite look like you're moving the way in accordance with this terrain very well. Okay, now we're gonna power up here. Still unleveled, by the way. Still not leveled up. Okay. Instead of 42, I think we do like 63 or something. 63k. Yup. Which is impressive. Very good damage. But yeah, one thing I was like, you see YouTube videos of people with creatures dishing out like 1,000,000 damage, and I think that's because they have the level set higher, so you can get higher level creatures, or they've ascended them to basically double the level. Like, we haven't done that yet. We can't do that until we kill Nova and Pycon. And Skynet, actually. Yeah, if you have the unofficial extras addition to Primal Fear, there is a third tier 3 boss called Skynet. And I've seen like a picture of it. It looks pretty cool, but I'll save that for when we get to that fight. Or not an additional tier 3. What am I talking about? A tier 5. I'm just here roasting these guys. But yeah, overall, very impressive creature. Like, very dangerous. But I do find that, and not just because demonics are objectively stronger than Celestials, but I just find that the Reaper Empress has a little bit more utility as well because of the amount of attacks it can do. Like, I would give this thing full credit if that Fire Breath went just a bit further. Because that C attack and its standard bite are so powerful that it's able to really... it could definitely hold its own. Like, you could kill bosses with this thing easy. Ooh, what did I get angry at me? Well, it's dead now. God, that kill feed every time gets me. Oh, that's a demonic. That is a dead demonic. Ow, 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 ow. And I think, yeah, you see there, as always, it's draining stamina, but being powered up, let's try that a sentence again. Being powered up drains stamina. But this guy has enough stamina that it's not that big of a problem. I also think it drains more by default with flyers. I don't know. It's just something I've noticed. It seems to drain them a lot quicker, but maybe that's because it happens while they're flying. And flying also passively drains stamina, although when you have as much as your Celestial, RG, and Wyvern do, you don't even notice that it's draining their stamina, so I'm still a little curious about that. I'm also curious why there is no demonic flyer yet. I don't know. The demonic Tapajara. Hey, you've got a demonic Mesopithecus. I don't want to hear anything about, well, that's just a weird choice. Like, Just give him some stam right there so it buffs back up. Give him some XP. And now we're going to level him up a little bit. God, I tell you, when we start Survival Ascended, it's going to be very interesting going back to, yeah, like, things having hundreds of HP and not millions, you know? It's going to be such a weird... Okay, am I still powered up? No. Yes. And I'm doing 89k to a stego. God, that roar is just... No, I'm sorry, 89k is just my standard damage, I think. Is it? No. Oh my... Yes! If you ever want a dino wipe without actually using the dino wipe command, just run randomly around on the Celestial Indominus and click C. And just watch everything evaporate off the map. That's funny. The problem is, I think it will, you know, I can confirm that it does damage trees and other structures, and I don't know if it damages buildings, but, oh yeah, there you go, there's our actual damage, more like 170k, while powered up anyway, and still not fully leveled either. My guy, you have, like, these big-ass arms. You're not a T-Rex. You should be able to just scramble up the side of the hill. I know you're huge and all, but come on. Come on, get it together. What is this? That's something I do hope they fix, or that they have fixed for Survival Ascended is, you know, you actually interact physically with the world a little better. Like, you're not sticking halfway through a hill or, like, stuck on a rock that you should very easily just, that any, like, creature with any amount of brain cells should just go, huh, steps over it. Yeah, I'm just popping, like, I'm just making it pop stamina so it will stay in its powered up mode. I will say I'm a little annoyed that you don't do trample damage with this or the Reaper Empress. But on the other hand, I can kind of understand why. Because at the size these things are, you just be running in and you could literally just run right up through somebody's base and kill half of their stuff. Not their creatures, but like their like personnel in PvP. Also, because they're so massive, there's a very good chance that if they had trample damage, they'd be constantly aggroing everything, depending on how much damage it does. So, I can understand the choice, the creative decision not to allow it. It's just a little annoying that at this size, you're getting hung up on, like, I should be able to step over every single one of those creatures and not have a problem. But nope, can't do that. And if somebody's like, well, the animal would not be smart enough to figure that out, it's like, animals aren't fools. They know how to use and control their own body weight. So it just always bugged me in ARK. Sometimes it's just like, oh no, a log in the road. If only I was a big dinosaur and had a stride that would easily allow me to just carefully step over it. No, we can't do that. Ow, ow, ow. But yeah, with this fight, we have defeated Tier 3 of Primal Fear bosses. And now we're basically set up to do Tier 4. Also, quick aside, have you ever actually been to like a redwood or a pine forest? You know the trees are not normally this far apart. Like, it's, depending on what type of tree it is, they can get pretty densely packed. Oh, and here's a spirit creature. Knowing my luck, it's probably a bee. Why is that a spirit creature? Why? Why are there spirit and chaos bees? I don't know. And I don't like it. Well, I don't hate it either, to be fair. I just think it's stupid. But nothing's surviving the sea attack. Actually, does it? Oh, it did. It did survive, and then it soon came to regret that. No. And see, I can't tell when it's been killed because so many things are dying. I will say that sea attack alone would make this thing very, very annoying for boss minions to handle, especially if they get right in its face and eat like 5 or 6 needles. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's episode. Once again, if you enjoyed it, do me a solid. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. It really does help me out. This is TBT. I'm signing out, and I'll catch you on the next exciting episode of ARK Primal Fear.